Hey, YouTubers, just want to uh, talk about an experience I had. There's some other videos I'm going to be coming out with, but it's not going to be today. Um, so today was a auction at a local auction house named Motley's Industrial. Uh, I really don't like dealing with that auction house because the buyer's premium, and a lot of people go there to just overspend on things and run the bids up for no reason. Um, I thought that people went to auctions to buy something at a reasonable rate. However, the top of the discussion is going to be the Chinese equipment. I was trying to buy some Chinese equipment to resell, and I seen Chinese equipment at every auction that you can think of on the internet now. So I guess that's a thing. Went last week out of town and happened upon an auction, and that auction had a lot of Chinese equipment. And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me go to this auction and see how much they go for. It's still in the same state of Virginia where I'm at, and let me go to uh, the auction up there, and it should be pretty comparable because it's not terribly far apart." So I looked at the mini steers and I tested them out. I had drove some previously that a friend of mine owned, and mini excavator. Long story short, the mini steers went for no more than like $2,100 each. Little 13 and a half horsepower motor, nothing extraordinary. The excavators, you had the small up to 4 tons. It went from the smaller units on average of, I'd say maybe $2,900 for the smaller units, and that's saying 1 and 2 ton. The larger units, they went from 6 to 7 thousand of the 4 tons, and the 3 ton that had a cab on it. And this is all Chinese equipment. So I said, "Oh, okay." I thought about buying it and coming back and picking it up, but I was like, "Do I really want to drive 6 hours cumulatively to pick these up and bring them back when there's another auction at Motley's Industrial next week on Tuesday, which is 45 minutes from my house?" So I was like, I'll just pass on it. That was a mistake. All right, so Motley's Auto Auction has a buyer's premium that you have to pay. A buyer's penalty. It's not a premium, it's a penalty for doing business with them. It's like the equivalent of going into Walmart and whenever you buy something, they charge you. I digress. But they had the stuff that I was looking for. So I went there and I looked at the buyer's premium and looked at what I could afford to pay for these items and how much I could probably resell them without them sitting a very long time. So that being said, uh, the mini steers were all like 3,000 to $3,600 for the mini steers, plus the buyer's premium. The excavators were all on average, I'd say $3,500 plus. I don't know what each of them went. This about 3,500 plus. Some of them were really small, and I was only trying to get the ones that had two pumps and the pilots on the mini excavators. They only had two of those, but I bid on a couple others, and it didn't touch them. Most of them went for like 4,500 or 4,400. I don't remember the exact thing. I can get it if anybody wants to know and tell you. But long story short, it was to the point where I would be buying it just to keep it because, like the others that I see on Marketplace that's been there for a very long time, for 5 and 6 thousand, no one buys them. So I chose to walk away from those and I did bid and I got something else, a Chinese forestry mulcher head. Um, Happy to get that. I got a skid steer auger with 3 bit set. Um, did really well on that. I got a 32-inch mini skid steer tilting bucket. Um, that was reasonable. I am going to buy a mini excavator, excuse me, and use that tilting bucket for doing some work on drainage work and ditch work. Um, then I also bought a thumb. I'll put that on there when I get it. But I hear like Our Life in the Trees, and I watch his shows on the Chinese excavators and how many people talk trash about uh, him getting stuff from China, supporting communism. But if all the people that talk trash about that and didn't buy Chinese equipment, they would not be shipping containers after containers to different auctions if people were not buying them. So those people that complain about supporting communism, it must be about 15 people in the whole United States, because everybody else is snapping these things up like hotcakes. What they're doing with them, I guess they're reselling them. Some people are using them. I don't know. I have no problem with buying stuff, Chinese equipment, because not everybody can afford mainstream uh, equipment, especially if they don't use it in an industrial setting. I'm a contractor, but I would use that for stuff around my farm, or maybe even on job sites. It depends on what it is. Everything really comes from China mostly, so it's like I don't even understand that argument. However, the market here in Richmond, Virginia, um, I don't know what's going on. I think a lot of people come to Motley's and take them out to another state. There's no way that they're staying here in Central Virginia, because I've never seen them on job sites. Of course, I've never been to everybody's farm, but the people that are buying them have businesses, and you can only use but so many, unless they want one for every day of the week. I don't know. Who knows? But I really wanted to talk about this because this was really eye opening to me, as far as the stark difference between when I went to a place a few hours away from where I'm at to here in Richmond, Virginia, how much the price just blew up. Um, I don't get it. I think that there's a lot of people that go to Motley's to try to flex and show they have money and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you have spent more than I can get it off of Alibaba delivered and brought over here. So I guess I don't understand why people do stuff like that. But, does anybody know why they do that? I don't know. But what I would like to say is I had a really uh, good time testing out some of the equipment that a friend of mine had. And I will be buying a mini steer for myself, and I'll buy a mini excavator for myself. Um, the whole resale thing, I don't want to buy something that my uh, profit margin is so thin that it's not even worth doing it. You go to Marketplace, I'm sure everybody out there can go to Marketplace and you see them sitting on there over and over, day after day after day. Here in Richmond, Virginia, um, they got them $5,000 and $6,000, and they're just sitting there. My plan was to get them and do $1,000 under or more, depending on how much I paid for it, to move them. Um, it didn't work out like that. Maybe I will try to find a vendor who would be willing to send some over and work with me on getting a dealership started. If you're out there and you're looking at my YouTube and you want to have a Chinese equipment dealership, I got the property and I'm willing to do it. Shoot me a message and we can talk about it. Um, but I'll go back to Alibaba and try to find someone who maybe willing to do that. Like I said, I got storage buildings to keep them in and all kinds of good stuff, which is what I was going to do. But can somebody tell me what happened where these Chinese pieces of equipment have just all of a sudden just taken over the market and people just pay out the woodwork? I guess the other side to it is people have gotten their tax money back and it's burned a hole in their pocket. But anyway, let's have a conversation. Drop me some messages. Uh, Shoot me email if you want to talk about something. If you're a vendor yourself or distributor, let me know what's going on because I think it's kind of perplexing how we went from all the mainstream equipment to now all this stuff is being imported from China and they're getting snapped up so quickly. Even if it's just to have a conversation, I could care less about becoming a dealer. I'd love to become a dealer, don't get me wrong, and jump on that bandwagon, but I'd just like to know what brought about this whole craze. Um, yeah, so uh, drop me a message. Like I say, our life in the trees has really taught me a whole lot about the whole Chinese equipment as far as uh, the differences and how to order and so on and so forth. So kudos to him. But um, if anybody, including him, wants to talk, drop me a message. All right. Bye.